6:02 in this morning, APS is investigating after a mother says a bus driver forced her child to walk home after school.
My daughter told him that she didn't want to get out of the bus, and she said to get off here or she's not going to drop him off at all and she'll take him back to the bus station. So she made them all get off and they had to all walk home.
Stephanie Holgan says her daughter called her yesterday afternoon saying that she was walking home from a stop that wasn't hers near Montgomery in Louisiana. Holgan says her fifth grader told her that the kids on the bus were yelling at the driver because she missed a stop. And that's when she says the driver drove a ways and then let them off at a park. The entire bus emptied out. Some of the kids on that bus were as young as 5. And Holgan claims some were even crying.
She knows she's working with children. These are elementary school children. And if she can't handle it, then she has no business working with them.
An APS spokeswoman says the driver was a sub and won't be there today. She says the bus driver told them the kids got off at the second stop and refused to get back on the bus. But even so, they are investigating that situation. Developing right now, UNM police are trying to find people who may have seen a woman attacked on campus yesterday. Police arrested a man accused of groping a woman outside Castetter Hall. He has since been released. This is one of several gropings on campus in the past few months. Happening today, Albuquerque police are investigating a 3-car crash that sent several people to the hospital. It happened just before 7 yesterday at Indian School and Tramway in northeast Albuquerque. 4 people were injured, and one of them is in critical condition. No word yet on what caused it. Also this morning, police are trying to find out how burglars got away with nearly 40 guns along with thousands of bullets last week from the Diamond Group. It's a security company on Central in charge of protecting federal buildings. The Diamond Group is owned by a nationwide corporation which would not comment. Classes have been canceled today for students at Delta State University in Mississippi. A deadly shooting put the college on lockdown yesterday. Police say Shannon Lamb shot and killed himself as police closed in on him Monday night. That's after police say Lamb fatally shot 39-year-old history professor Ethan Schmidt. The two taught at Delta State. Authorities say Lamb is also a suspect in the shooting death of Amy Prentice, whose body was found Monday morning at a home in Gaucher. It's a coastal city about 300 miles away. Still no word on why. We do know that Lamb lived with Prentice. There are new facts that you need to know this morning. Fiat Chrysler is recalling over 27,000 Dodge Darts. According to the company, the car's transmissions can unexpectedly shift into neutral. The recall affects models made from 2013 through 2015. Right now, there are no reports of any accidents or injuries caused by the defect. They say the dashboard warning light will illuminate if the problem is present. FCA says it'll notify customers and dealers will repair those cars for free. So we're just over 2 weeks away from the Balloon Fiesta, and this year you might notice something new. The city of Albuquerque is adding big recycle bins. Officials say last year Balloon Fiesta goers generated about 181 tons of trash. That's enough to fill 36 football fields. 22 tons of that was recyclable material.
The more we can get visitors and their guests and locals to recycle at major events like this, the more it perpetuates and carries on. And
by adding the bigger recycling bins, the city says it'll give people and vendors a better opportunity to recycle. Ribbons for prize-winning animals are going missing at the state fair.
Just wow. Like, why would you scoop that low to steal something that you didn't even win?
15-year-old Summer Holland works all year to show off her animals at the New Mexico State Fair, but this year she says somebody took off with her ribbons. Judges placed those ribbons on the cages for everybody to see, but she says when she got back, her Best in Show ribbon was gone, and it's not just Summer's ribbons that were taken. Other contestants said the same thing happened to them. State Fair officials say they do have people monitoring those ribbons regularly. The fair says it will gladly replace the missing ones. This morning, APD is on the hunt for a murder suspect's girlfriend. 22-year-old Tanika Walters is the girlfriend of 24-year-old James Finch. Finch is accused of stabbing his parents at their home on Grove Street last month. His father died and his mother critically injured. The parents had a restraining order against him, and they had extra security to protect themselves, too. But now police say they can't get a hold of Walters, and they're concerned about her. Pardon me. Items of interest have been found in the Dillon red wine case. According to the Durango Herald, a wet season with movement of the soil and vegetation prompted a search over the weekend. Investigators aren't saying what they found. Redwine's body, though, was found in the summer of 2013. It wasn't until recently the sheriff's office officially announced the teen's father, Mark Redwine, as a person of interest, and that Dillon's death was classified as a homicide. Time is 6:07. A problem in a popular Albuquerque park has many people watching their step. Dog owners are now cleaning up after their pets on the Bear Canyon Trail at Arroyo del Oso Park on Osuna near Wyoming. We spoke with people at the park yesterday. They don't just blame the pet owners for this. They also say the city is not installing enough doggy bag dispensers.
Not running over it, not stepping in it if I was walking, that sort of thing. And of course the smell would be offensive too.
A city says it costs about $300 to put in a dog waste bag dispenser, and it would take volunteers to refill those bags every month. So it's up to pet owners to bring their own. Oh, you got to see this. Take a moment if you have a second to look away from, look toward the screen, away from what you're doing this morning. A cub caught on camera. The new video shows the bear cub trapped inside a local pizza joint after running through an open door yesterday. This happened at Louie's Pizza in downtown Colorado Springs. Wildlife officers tranquilized the cub, and she's now on the way to rehab. She apparently had a broken foot. Officers say they think she was hit by a car. After she recovers, she will be relocated. Meantime, the Department of Justice is looking into allegations that Albuquerque public schools may be funneling disabled children into the juvenile justice system. In a letter written to Congresswoman Michelle Lujan Grisham, the Department of Justice says it will use at least one recent complaint to determine whether it should open an investigation into the number of students living with a disability who are referred to the juvenile justice system instead of being disciplined at school. Civil rights attorneys say arresting students can have a profound effect.
Along with their disability of having difficulties paying attention in class and staying up with the schoolwork, now they're taking it out of school in handcuffs, and it further puts them behind, and it literally drives these children out of school.
You can read our full special assignment report and see the letter on the KRQE News app. Secretary of State Diana Duran is scheduled to face a judge today. If she is there in court, it'll be the first time that she's faced the public since being charged with spending thousands in campaign funds at local casinos. Last week, the Speaker of the New Mexico House announced a special committee to investigate the embezzlement allegations. That committee could recommend that Duran be impeached, something that's never happened in New Mexico before. News 13 has learned when 2 Albuquerque police officers will go to trial for killing homeless camper James Boyd. Officer Dominique Perez and former detective Keith Sandy are scheduled to stand trial August 15th of next year. A judge tentatively set the trial date yesterday. 6:32 and happening now, 2 fast-moving wildfires have displaced over 20,000 people in Northern California. And one of them, the Valley Fire, it's now about 10% contained this morning, but hundreds of homes are destroyed in the wake of it. Flames left several neighborhoods north of Napa Valley in smoldering ruins. One person is dead. Authorities say they found the body of a 72-year-old woman who was not able to make it out of her home in time. Developing overnight, crews in Utah are searching for at least 5 people who are missing after flash flooding. Another 8 are dead. News 13's Catherine Mazzone has been following the latest for us this morning. Catherine?
Well, that's right, Adam. Women and children in 2 vehicles were caught off guard by a wall of water. Take a look at this witness video shot as the flood was happening. Now, one by one, crews pull each person from a packed car, and it's just in time, too. Everyone gets out all right, luckily, but others are still missing in southern Utah. Fire officials say 16 women and children in 2 vehicles were washed away last night when severe storms sent floodwaters down canyons in the town of Hilldale. Throughout the night, the search for victims continued. The youngest, believed to only be 4 years old. There were 3 survivors.
More significant flood than we've had for quite some time. Obviously, it took them off guard. They were well back from where the flood channel usually is.
Well, many in the community are discouraged from watching TV or using the internet, so police don't think some of the residents even knew about the storm warnings. I'm going to send it over to Kristen now for more on flooding and the fires raging in California. Kristen?
Thank you, Catherine. I want to first start with a look at the flooding. This is the radar grab from yesterday afternoon around 4:30. Now, Hilldale lies just north of the state line, north of Colorado City. You could see they picked up some heavy rain, about 1 to 2 inches in the mountains surrounding the mountain town. Now, this is pretty much a classic flash flooding situation. We've talked about this all the time when it comes to our setup here in New Mexico. We get a lot of rain on the mountains nearby. We're seeing it run down into the canyons and into the lower elevations where the town sits. Really, they don't have a great stream system set up there. We're still in the desert southwest, so that was why we had that flooding event. Just too much rain too quickly, in the mountain towns. Now, when we show the radar now, you can see we're not done. That's the issue here, is we still have rain in the forecast for Hilldale, Utah. We'll be sure to keep you updated on that. Switching gears to the fire, we are not looking at a good situation out there. I mean, we're melting rims with this fire, the Valley Fire, that is just to the northwest of Sacramento. The good news is we do look to see some relief on the way. We got a big disturbance out across the Pacific Northwest that does look to cool down the temperatures and bring in some rain chances. Superstorm track put this into motion. You can see all the cloud cover expected out over Northern California today. As we head into tomorrow, we got a band of rain setting up just to the northwest of the Valley Fire. So hopefully we can make some improvements there over the next 24 hours. And of course, I know you have friends and family elsewhere. We'll be sure to keep you updated right here at KRQE. I'll have details on that coming up.
Thank you, Kristen. Now let's take a live look over at our Washington, D.C. Capitol this morning. And there, Senate Republicans are expected to try to move forward with a resolution rejecting the Iran nuclear deal for a second time. Democrats have already said they will block that measure. Last week, Senate Republicans, or I should say Senate Democrats, blocked Republican attempts to get a disapproval resolution to the president's desk. The deal would curb Iran's nuclear program in exchange for relief from sanctions, which are hurting the country's economy. Also happening in just hours, the president is expected to formally announce changes to federal student aid. Students will now be able to use family income information from 2 years prior when filling out the free application for federal student aid. Right now, they can only use one. They will also be able to fill out the application as soon as October. Right now, students have to wait until January. The changes are scheduled to take effect for the 2017-2018 school year. In the coming hours, Bernalillo County commissioners are set to pick a new manager today. That'll happen at noon. Last week, they interviewed a dozen candidates for the job during a closed meeting. The winner will replace current manager Tom Zdunek, who's set to retire next month. They'll also have to help the county balance its budget, something that was a challenge this year. Well, people in one New Mexico town say they are fed up with a pack of dogs terrorizing their neighborhood. People in this Carlsbad neighborhood say the trouble started a few years ago when new neighbors moved in, bringing with them some vicious dogs. The latest attack was caught on surveillance video. You can see the two pit bulls here attack a woman walking her dog. Residents say this isn't the first attack either. They say that they have called the city again and again, but they claim that nothing is being done.
The city needs to step up and take responsibility on it instead of sitting there saying they can't do nothing when there's a lot of evidence on it.
We reached out to the city of Carlsbad to try to find out why these dogs are still allowed at the home and what's being done to the owners. No one's gotten back with us. Neighbors say the city should force the dog owners to build a better fence. New video shows a woman being kicked off an American Airlines flight. That video was taken by another passenger on a flight to Chicago yesterday. Authorities say she started a fight mid-air with somebody sitting in front of her. When the crew tried to stop her, she allegedly hit a flight attendant. The pilot made an emergency landing in Indianapolis where she was arrested and taken off the plane. The woman is now in police custody facing several charges. A deli owner in New York says he is furious about surveillance video showing a woman attacking his 10-year-old son in the store. In the video, you can see the unidentified woman slapping the boy even as he runs off, tries to block her from doing it. This boy says those hits were hard enough that he got a bloody nose. He says it all started when he asked the cashier for some bags. The woman got upset when he didn't say thank you and ordered him to do it. He refused. She attacked. Police are still looking for this woman to ask her some questions.